Alrighty, welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. So this month, the month of May when this is being filmed, it is Ehlers Danlos Awareness Month. Now I normally film a video for this, like Awareness Month, talking about EDS and how it affects me. I've done that like 2 years in a row now, I'm pretty sure, and I don't really want to repeat it a third year. I want to switch it up. So I asked you guys, now this was originally, I've been doing, if you follow me on Instagram or if you follow my medical Instagram, you will know I've been doing EDS posts and I'm kind of like covering all the different like aspects of it. So I basically did an Instagram question thing and I asked you guys, what things would you like me to cover in my next EDS post, because I've already done 2 and I'm going to do a 3rd one. Anyway, as I was reading through the questions, some of the questions I thought were quite good and also relate back to EDS, so I thought I'd do a bit of a Q&A instead. And I do want to film a Q&A with Tom and our relationship and how it affects us and everything. And I was going to do that for EDS Awareness Month, but I don't realistically think that that's going to go up this month. So I thought I'd just do a Q&A instead. So I'm just going to be going through some of the questions. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to try not to stay on each question too long, but I want to get through a fair few of them. So somebody asked, how can it be okay one day and then next you can't move and need braces? So if you followed my channel for a long time, you will know I've gone through periods where I've needed braces for a period of time and then I don't need them one day, like for my finger splints. You know, some days I don't wear them, some days I do. And that is because basically you get injured very, very easily. So some days, say you've dislocated your fingers a lot one day, they're going to be really sore the next. Especially, say, if I don't wear my braces, the next day I probably will need to. Whereas you might get a bad dislocation, you might need to wear a brace for a bit for the extra support for that joint, and then say you wear it for a week, it feels better, you don't need it for a while, etc. It kind of just goes like that. Like, you don't need them all the time. It's also bad to wear them all the time because your joint gets used to having that extra support there and then it gets even weaker. So it's basically, if you get an injury or bad dislocation, you might need to wear a brace for a little while. And sometimes braces are, in some cases, used to prevent injuries. So you'll see people wearing them to prevent an injury, like spinal injuries. You see a lot of people that wear neck braces or like the columned ones that go like around your middle and back, and that is usually to prevent injuries from happening because the spine and neck is so like flexible, if that makes sense. Will having joint replacements make it so that so that your joints don't dislocate as much? Yes and no. I am actually having a surgery on June the 26th where they're going to break my pelvis and realign my hip socket, because my hips, I have something called hip dysplasia, and that makes my dislocations with EDS even more prone to happening. So they're gonna like kind of pin the joint in place, and theoretically it should reduce the dislocations a lot. I'm not sure if it's the same for like joint replacements, but who knows, it might. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you have EDS and you've had a joint replacement. Basically they said if I don't do this surgery then I'm going to need a joint replacement by the time I'm 30, like a hip replacement. I don't want a hip replacement, so I think going this route is the best option for me. At least that's what my doctors think. Why do you need to use a catheter? Is your bladder paralyzed as well? The term isn't paralyzed, I just can't, like, the signals are all messed up. So for a normal person, you drink a drink, your bladder fills with urine and your brain goes like ding ding ding, we need to wee, and then you go off to release, you know, the urine. With my brain, it doesn't necessarily send the signals right, so my bladder can fill and be really full and I won't even know. And then other times it will fill a little bit and I'll feel like I'm bursting. And then when I try to go, my muscles don't contract properly and I can't like push the urine out. So that's why I have to catheterize, and again that is like another complication of EDS. The difference, this is a good one, the difference between hypermobility and hypermobile EDS. Because there is a big difference and people get this confused all the time. They think they're the same thing. They're not. Lots of people are hypermobile or double jointed as it's known. That does not mean that you have Ehlers Danlos. Ehlers Danlos is a connective tissue disorder, which means it affects everything, not just your joints. So it doesn't just mean you're hypermobile, it means, you know, every organ that is made up of tissue is affected pretty much. That's why I have bladder issues, stomach issues, intestinal issues, colon issues, heart issues, like any organ that you can think of I have issues with or is affected by EDS. Whereas hypermobility is just the joints, it doesn't affect everything. I love this. This is unrelated, sorry, but where did you get your red heat pack? I actually have this on me right now. This is an electric heat pack. It gets charged by this little thing here, like you plug in the charger and it stays hot for many hours. I constantly get this question, where did I get it from? I got it from a chemist near me in Australia called Chemist Warehouse, but the actual name of the thing is called a hot pod, so HOTPOD. If you just type it on Google and then type Chemist Warehouse, it should come up. Or if you type in electric heat pack, it might come up as well. I'm sorry if they don't ship to where you live, but yeah, that's where it's from. I get this question all the time, so I thought why not just add it in. I love this. Do you ever forget that you're hooked up to an IV machine and just take off? Literally all the time. So I'm not connected right now, but when I am, like, I will forget and I'll just like start walking off and then I'll be like, oh, because it like pulls on your line. Luckily, it pulls on the tape, not the actual like line. But yes, I forget that I'm attached, or like it used to happen a lot when I was connected to my feed, because I'm pretty much connected 24/7, and that used to hurt. Like if I would step on my feed line, or if I would step on like the line that I'm connected to my feed with, it would pull where my feeding tube is, which is like in your stomach, so it almost feels like someone's pulling your internal organs. Like it's not a nice feeling. It's not so much painful, it's just like the feeling of your insides being pulled. It's like, oh my god, like, whoa, that does not feel good. So yes, the effect it has on your mental health. Good question. Yes, I suffer with my mental health a lot. I feel a lot of people don't want to say that they have mental health issues. This is something I actually saw my doctor today, and this is something that we discussed. So I started an antidepressant originally to help with gastric pain because of my gastroparesis. If you guys don't know what gastroparesis is, it's basically a paralyzed stomach. My stomach doesn't work, it's paralyzed. So I originally started the antidepressant to help with that, and it did. However, it also helped with my moods and, you know, leveling out that and making me feel better from a mental health point of view. And I actually said that to my doctor today. I said, you know, I probably wouldn't have asked for help mentally if you guys didn't put me on the antidepressant for the pain, because I'm scared that people think that if you say you've got mental health issues, they suddenly disregard all your physical illnesses and go, it's mental, it's in your head. And she completely agreed with me. She goes, we don't think that here, obviously, but she goes, there's a lot of doctors out there that do, and I completely understand why you didn't want to come forward with your mental health issues. And I said, yeah, pretty much. That's why I saw a psychologist or mental health doctor outside of my normal hospital. I went to see them privately because I didn't want them to associate that with all my physical illnesses. And that is a really hard thing to ask for help. Sorry, my eyes are watering. If you are out there struggling, please ask for help. I know it's hard. I know there's a lot of doctors that will then doubt your like physical illness when the physical illness caused the mental illness in the first place. It is a really tough situation to be in. So I really do feel for you guys if you're in that same situation, but please try and reach out, ask for help, or do what I did and go and see someone privately that's not associated with your like hospital, if that makes sense. Surgeries, constant surgeries, someone said. I've had quite a few surgeries due to EDS, but it's something particularly that my doctors want to try to avoid. Like if they can help it, they do not want me to have surgery because it is so hard on the body, especially with Ehlers Danlos. You know, like with EDS, like you have super slow and poor healing, like your wounds and bone. Like if you get a cut, it takes a long time to heal. If you break a bone, it takes like triple the amount of time that it would take a normal person to heal. So say a normal person has to wear a cast for 6 weeks, you might have to wear it for like 18 weeks. Like it's a really tough thing to put your body through, especially when you have like, you know, if it's like a 1 to 2 month recovery period, it's like 6 month recovery period for someone with EDS. Obviously every case is different, but personally with me, like all my piercings, my tattoos, they took a long time to heal, and it was tough, like just getting something small like a piercing. I got my ears pierced when I was 5 years old, and I still get recurring infections and issues with them. And the same, not so much with my tattoos, but they just took a long time to heal, which is why most of my tattoos are quite small. You know, I don't have that many big pieces because they would just take such a long time to heal, and I just couldn't be bothered, to be honest with you. Yeah, so there's a lot of surgeries and stuff like that come along with EDS. Like with my hips, I need my right hip doing, that's the one that I'm getting surgery on the June 26th, and then I need my left one doing, but I'm just gonna see how bad the right one is first and then decide whether I want to do the left one. You get a lot of torn ligaments, which, like for example my ACL and MCL, I've had those repaired before. I have torn ligaments in my shoulders, in both hips, in both knees. But you know, it comes to a point where the surgeons won't like touch you. Like they'll be like, no, we're not doing it, because they know it's just so easy to tear it again. So most of the time you'll find a lot of people with Ehlers Danlos just have to live with torn ligaments or cartilage, unless it's causing severe issues like my hips. They just don't want to do surgery. Surgery is kind of like a hit and miss thing. You either really need it and you have to do it, or you know, a surgeon won't go near you because of your EDS. So I had to get like not just a second opinion, a third opinion, because of how high risk I am. So it's kind of like, does it outweigh risks versus benefits kind of thing. Misconceptions about EDS. One that I can think about is, you know, when people in films like dislocate something and they pop a joint back and it's this huge loud pop and crack and it's like and they're like, oh my god. It's not like that with EDS. Sometimes, yeah, you get a really decent pop and you're like, oh, that's a good sound. Other times you could pop a joint back and you can't even hear it. You can feel it, but you can't hear it. Like, that is a huge misconception that I think that people don't talk about, is that popping joints back are always these loud, massive cracks. Sometimes it just sounds like you're popping a knuckle, like that. Sometimes it can just sound really small like that, and other times it can be a really loud pop, and then other times it's like no sound at all. I feel like that's a huge misconception. Another misconception is hypermobility. People think if they're hypermobile or they can bend their finger back like that, then it means that they have EDS. Not true at all. You have double jointed / hypermobility, and then you have EDS. It's completely different. There's loads of misconceptions out there. I could do a whole video on misconceptions alone, but those are a few. My life expectancy. I get this a lot. So lots of things that affect life expectancy, and it's not something I like to talk about too much because anyone could die at any moment. Like, someone who's completely healthy could just suddenly like die of like a heart arrhythmia, or they could get, you know, be in a car crash or whatever it is. Like, everyone has their expiry date. Everyone is gonna die. I don't want to put like a time limit on my life. However, hang on, my battery's gonna die. Sorry, I might be a little bit more zoomed in than I was before, but I can't remember exactly the position I had the camera in. Like I said, I don't want to put like a time limit on my life and be like, oh, I've only got 10 years or only got 15 years. Yes, my life expectancy is shortened. One, because I have Ehlers Danlos, and two, because I have Ehlers Danlos with complications. So basically, I have heart issues, GI issues. The EDS alone isn't going to kill me, but the other issues will. Now, because my GI tract is paralyzed, I'm fed through a line that goes into my heart. Now it becomes at a very high risk. The TPN itself damages your liver, and if you're on it long term, most patients end up needing a liver transplant. Hello? Yeah, I'm just in the middle of filming a video. Wait, hang on, let me put you on speaker. Say it again.
Hello, YouTube. How's it going? That sounded really Asian.
That sounded so Asian.
Hello, YouTube. How are you?
Now you sound like a monotone voice, like a voicemail or something.
Hello, YouTube. How's it going? You alright?
Right, that's enough of that. As I was saying, so most patients who are on long-term TPN either have severe liver issues or need like a liver transplant, and then it's kind of like some people can't get a liver transplant because they're so high risk that they won't put them on the transplant list, so then it's kind of like, well, you can't survive without a liver. Then the second thing is infection. So like I said, this line comes with super high risk, which basically means that I'm at high risk of getting infections, things like sepsis, which can be fatal. I think it's like 1 in 5 people die from sepsis. Although with that said, I know many people that have had sepsis more than 5 times and they're still alive. You know, you can't always look at numbers and facts and be like, oh, 1 in 5 and like, I'm gonna die at some point. Like, everyone's gonna die. I guess my point is, yes, my life expectancy is shorter than the average person that goes their whole life with no issues or doesn't die young. In short, yes, my life is shortened. I'm just gonna live my life as I am and just try and get them out here. Try and get the most out of it and just try not to worry about those type of things. Only gonna do a few more. I have plastic finger splints, but I'd like metal ones. They are so expensive. Any advice? I got mine from Bling Splints. It's an Etsy shop. I'll leave it down below. Mine were a lot cheaper than getting the silver ones, because if you search like silverringsplints.com, they're like $99 plus per splint. So you're looking at $1,000 plus for a set, whereas I only paid like 100 and something for my entire set. But that's because I got a discount from that shop, but still it's so much cheaper. So if you're looking for metal splints, definitely go to blingsplints.com or blingsplints, the Etsy shop. I'll leave them in the description. Go check them out because seriously, so good. I'm gonna do this one and then one more after it. So this one just says comorbidities, pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, and that basically just means that EDS can cause a bunch of other stuff. I actually have a little diagram down here, let me show you guys. Let me just whip out my whiteboard. Okay, you can kind of see my ring light. So you have EDS, and then it has the comorbidities, which are the things that EDS causes. So heart murmur and POTS are my two heart conditions that has been caused by EDS. Mast cell activation disorder or mast cell activation syndrome, again caused by EDS, and that affects like the immune system and your allergic reactions. So basically I could wash my hands with a bar of soap, be fine one day, wash them the next with the same bar of soap, and it could send me into anaphylaxis. So that's what mast cell is. Gastroparesis, intestinal dysmotility, colon dysmotility, or colon issues like slow, paralyzed. Basically paralyzed stomach, paralyzed intestines, paralyzed colon, also known as digestive tract paralysis, where it affects more than just one part of the digestive tract. This bit here is just a separate condition that's not caused by, well, you don't need to worry about that. It's not caused by EDS, that's just a separate genetic condition I have. But yeah, basically EDS has caused the majority of my health issues. Anyway, you guys get the idea. It's louder than I expected. However, I just want to quickly say, just because you have Ehlers Danlos does not mean that you're going to get all those other issues. It's common, but it does not mean that you have to have them. You know, you can have Ehlers Danlos and Ehlers Danlos alone. You do not need all the other things that come along with it. Some people have it, some people don't. I know a lot of people that have EDS alone and don't have any other issues. A lot of people are asking about my diagnosis journey and how I got diagnosed. I already have a video on that. I think it's called EDS, My Journey to a Diagnosis, and that's on my channel, so please go check that out if you want to know about how I got diagnosed, etc. I don't want to keep repeating myself in videos because a lot of you guys have seen previous videos. Okay, this is a good one. I think this is a good one to end it on. What your future looks like. Goals, aspirations, health and complications, etc. So basically, for my future, I want to continue doing YouTube as long as I can. I want to help spread awareness, just kind of get that out there. I feel like I've already touched so many people and changed people's lives, and I want to continue to do that because it literally makes me happy. I'm already qualified as a phlebotomist in the UK, however, where I currently am in Australia. Also, by the way guys, everyone's like, how can you have a British accent but be in Australia? It's called moving countries. So I was born in England, lived in England, moved to Australia, end of story. Anyway, so I'm qualified phlebotomist in the UK, not in Australia, because there's different aspects that you need to learn. So basically I want to re-qualify, and a phlebotomist is somebody who takes blood and puts in cannulas, like IVs, like the drips. And they also do urine collection, skin scraping, stuff like that. So basically I want to re-qualify, and then I want to try and work 1 to 2 days a week, or as much as my body will allow, and do YouTube at the same time. That is my plan for the future. I want to get my first house, hopefully by the end of the year, if not next year. I want to settle down with Tom, get married, have children. I've done another Q&A where I talked about having kids and if I can or can't. So I will leave that Q&A down below. I'll leave any relevant information in the description. And then I just want to keep doing what I'm doing, you know. Phlebotomy or blood taking and YouTube for as long as I can, as long as I'm alive. And yeah, just live my life as much as I can. Travel. I want to travel. It's hard with chronic illness, but I want to do it. I'm just going to figure out how I'm going to do that. Yeah, that's pretty much my life goals. And then we'll just, you know, do what we got to do to stay alive with my health. If that means more testing, more surgeries, more treatments, we're just going to keep doing it. And yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you a bit more of a insight to my life. If you have any other questions, leave them down below and I might have a look at them and do another Q&A video, because you guys seem to really like these Q&As. But anyway, yeah, love you guys to bits. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you beautiful people in my next video, which hopefully will be continue with this Friday upload. But if I miss a Friday, do not worry, hopefully there'll be another video the next Friday. Love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.